Hey, it's Matt Pinville backstage at Outside Lands, Golden Gate Park, San Francisco. Hanging out right now with Walter and Jack from the band Foals. So good to see you guys, man.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Are you guys excited about how things have really blown up over the last, year or so? Because you've done at least 2 or 3 tours here in the States before.
Yeah.
With what went down, it's pretty amazing.
In fact, more than that. I mean, we've been coming here for about 8 or 9 years now, and it's definitely there's been like a shift. I think with the help of Mountain at My Gates doing quite well at radio, and just I think off the back of we are one of those bands who've made the effort to come over here and tour everywhere, and and go to around the whole country, not just pick a couple of spots and go coast to coast and then go home. So I think we're maybe starting to see a lot of that hard work and those hours kind of pay off a little bit, which is good. So yeah, it's exciting. It's a good time to be over here.
It's really cool, and I'm sure you'll say yourself that you really do have to do the work when it comes down to coming over from the UK to the States because of how vast it is, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, compared to the size of, the whole of Britain is pretty much the same size as California, so you've got to do, it's so huge, and it's so varied and different, from state to state, and it's really exciting for us to see all the different, parts of America, and I don't know, yeah, it's an effort, and I think, to go to, not just to go to the major cities, to go to everywhere. I think people are really appreciative if you come to towns that not necessarily that many like English bands or maybe even bands generally come to. So yeah, it's really satisfying. And when you find out people have gone on road trips to see you as well, it's just a really flattering, nice thing.
Yeah, people drive across a state or two to come see you play, right?
Yeah, I mean, a long drive in the UK is 4 hours or something, and then sometimes people tell us they've driven 12 hours to come see us.
We wouldn't go up to Manchester. We wouldn't make the trip to Manchester from Oxford or London, which is about just 3 hours. We wouldn't do that. We're you come from where? Yeah.
You wouldn't go down to Exeter, right? University.
Yeah. Oh no.
Portsmouth.
Not that part of the country. Yeah. Portsmouth, forget about it. Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. But it's cool, isn't it? So what about you guys for festival experiences? Do you have a favorite festival that you've been to, whether it was in the UK, something like Reading or Glastonbury or something here? Is there a favorite that you've had?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes without saying Glastonbury's just so special, and it's just got this huge history to it, which is just, I mean, everybody talks about Glastonbury, and there's a reason why. It's kind of a benchmark for a lot of other festivals, and I think that some of that spirit has been kind of adopted quite well with some festivals here. I think particularly Bonnaroo is one that comes up as something that's got a really good vibe to it, and kind of feel it's just I think it just needs nice people and just a good kind of atmosphere, and they're quite different sometimes. Something like Coachella, for example, is it's a great festival, it's very well organized, but it can feel quite stiff and kind of a little bit like you're being corralled into places because of the rules and the regulations. And I think to festivals where that doesn't seem to happen too much is just a better feeling for everybody, because you want to be able to go somewhere and you just want to not adhere to the rules and stuff that you have in your day-to-day lives. And sometimes it's a bit disappointing when you get somewhere and you're like, where's your wristband? What are you doing? You can't take that drink here, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and you're just hold on, I didn't come for this. It's a bit weird, but no, I think a lot of the American festivals are great, and obviously Outside Lands as well. It's such a beautiful setting, helps so much as well. You're not in a concrete car park somewhere, it's out in amongst the woods, and it's great.
Yeah, I love it too. I mean, I think San Francisco and the whole area here, the Bay, is just beautiful, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's great, and we've actually spent a couple of days we had a couple of days off, and we've been in Tahoe by the lake for Jimmy's birthday. So we've had a nice run of days, and then a quick stop in Reno, which was really bizarre. So now to get to San Fran is kind of we feel like we're safe.
That's cool. You're good to be
here.
Which
Yeah.
I think is very cool. What about you? What is a favorite festival?
I don't know. I mean, every festival is so different.
Just like Reading and Leeds, even though they're together.
Oh,
Leeds is out in the woods, it's what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's pretty far from the city. Where
yeah.
You can walk out of Reading and walk down the street.
Yeah, it's interesting, those two festivals, because they are sister festivals, but at the same time they do feel very different. The atmosphere feels very different, and both really good in for various reasons. I don't know, I really liked Fuji Rock in Japan, because that's just a magical setting. It's it's at the bottom of a snowboard park up in the north, like Japan mountains, and it's like amazing.
The crowds look insane there. I saw a film of a band here from San Francisco, Cambrio, were just there playing. I guess about a week or two ago, whenever it was, and it just the audiences. You always hear that they're reserved in Japan, right? And that you see. They just clap a lot, like if you look at the early Beatles films, or even Cheap Trick live at Budokan, or you know what I mean. And then I saw this, and they looked like they were completely letting loose.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, the enthusiasm was amazing. I mean, we haven't actually been there on this record, which is a bit of a shame. We're going to try and go, I think. But yeah, they're very respectful as well. So like you don't get people barging into each other on the way to the pit, but then once you're in it, it's carnage. It's like it's great.
It sounds amazing. What's your favorite live show that you've been to? Do you remember the first concert you went to see?
The first concert I went to see was probably just a bunch of local bands in Oxford in a really small club, which isn't there anymore, and it's called The Point, and it's like quite a special place. And the first big show that I probably went to see was, I remember going to see the Pumpkins in Wembley, which was really exciting. I think I went by myself actually, and I was quite young. And that was my first like big rock show. That was really exciting. And then my first festival was Reading '99 actually, because it's just down the road from us in Oxford. So it was like
Who was headlining in '99?
That was the Peppers and Blur and the Charlatans, I think. Yeah. I remember it was really good. And bands like TerraVision were playing and stuff like things that like stuff like Symposium, if you remember them. Like there was some great. It was just like I think Beck was maybe there as well. Like back after all. Yeah. So you have a memory of those things, don't you? It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Reading. Been there. First one I think I went to was it was back. It's when Nirvana and Wonder Stuff and Public Enemy all headlined back in the day. So it's a while ago. Yeah. It's like 92. It was 92. Yeah. That was my first festival over there, which was so cool. It was a lot of fun. It was great. How about yourself?
Well, my first proper show that I went to, apart from like local bands, was the Mars Volta's first show in the UK, which was at this little venue in Camden called the Electric Ballroom, which was great. And I just remember just thinking how amazing, how it was like a proper pit. I remember the gig starting and having not been to a gig before really, just being sort of flung from one side of the room to the other, and it was just they were doing backflips on stage and stuff, and I was just like, this is absolutely amazing. But I didn't actually probably go to a festival until I started playing in them. The first one the band ever played is this local festival in Oxfordshire where we're from called Truck Festival, and that was fun. We played it, and we were supposed to play in a tent, and it was just when people were starting to hear about us back from where we're from, and so many people tried to get into the tent they had to move us to the sort of bigger stage, and it was an absolute mayhem. It was really good. Yeah, it was a pretty
flattering moment, wasn't it? We were just like, something's happening. It was great.
That must have been great. It's really cool. Do you know who was headlining that? Was it
a band called the Mystery Jets were actually? Yeah. So that was great.
So what went down is still done really well here, and so are you? I know when I spoke to Yanis and Jimmy about what you guys are going to do as far as the next record goes, they said they're going to wait till you guys get some time at home with family and get to relax a little bit before you guys really get into the writing process.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think we really need to do that because we've been sort of saying to ourselves we do it last couple of records and it doesn't actually quite happen. You get home for a few weeks and then once I guess the sort of the writing process with us is always sort of once it starts it kind of snowballs quite fast. So we can't really do chunks and then just leave it and not play for a while. It seems like you've got to capture the moments as they're happening. So the best thing to do is postpone it all together for a while and then get stuck in when it feels right. So, because also we just toured so much and we're away from home the whole time, and you keep thinking there's going to be a break coming, and then there's oh no, but we gotta, we're coming back to the States and then we're going to South America, which will be amazing. But before we know it, it'll be November. Right. So yeah.
Get off in time for the holidays.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. wave to the family at Christmas, and then probably back out again.
It's amazing. And you mentioned Japan too. So is that in the plan?
Not at the moment. We'd really like to go. It's just we're just having kind of problems with, like, I mean, it's really boring, but it's just financial reasons really. Getting, you know, the sort of Foals operation now is quite an expensive thing to move around the world, and there's so many places including Japan that we'd love to go to and play some more shows, but sometimes it's just not feasible, you know. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see. Maybe although maybe we'll get, you know, some offers next year or whatever. So yeah. Well,
guys, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you hanging out. It's good to have you. Walter and Jack hanging out right here at Outside Lands from the band Foals. It's KFOG.